Hold up. Seriously. If your cat is staring at you right now, it's not because you're cute, it's calculating. You think you know the creature curled up at your feet, but the truth is, you're missing signals that would change everything. They do things that seem innocent, but they're warnings. And if you don't get those warnings, you're living with a stranger. Worse, they know it. If you want to stop being a clueless roommate in your own place and finally understand what they really want from you, hit that subscribe button right now, because what I'm about to tell you is going to blow your mind. Ever notice when they bring you a dead mouse or a toy and drop it at your feet? You think it's a gift. A little, I love you. Wrong. They think you're a terrible hunter. In their feline brain, you're a giant, clumsy cat who can't survive on your own. They're not giving you a present. They're trying to teach you how to hunt so you don't starve. But that's not even the most disturbing part. You know that moment when they look at you from across the room and slowly blink? Everyone calls it a cat kiss. But have you ever stopped to wonder why they need to signal it? They're declaring an armistice. They're basically saying, I'm not going to attack you right now. That implies that any other moment, the tension is real. They're monitoring your vulnerability all the time. And it gets even weirder when they follow you into the bathroom. You think it's just them being clingy, right? Nope. In the wild, doing your business is when an animal is most exposed. They're not being annoying. They're standing guard. They figure you're incapable of protecting yourself while you're sitting there. They see danger where you just see privacy. But here's a detail almost no one picks up on. You know when they start making biscuits on your lap, those paws kneading away? You think they're just comfy. But check out their pupils. They dilate. They're actually scent marking you with glands in their paws. They're not relaxing. They're stamping their property. You're not their owner. You're their territory. And if you think that's strange, just wait until they have that meltdown at 3 in the morning. The infamous zoomies. You laugh, think they've gone crazy, but they're not just running from nothing. A cat's sensory system picks up on changes in atmospheric pressure and static electricity that you can't even dream exist. They're reacting to something that happened miles away or something that's moving inside your walls. They hear what you ignore. This happens when you don't even realize it. They bump their tiny nose against you and then pull away. Seems like a quick kiss, but really, they're collecting chemical intel. They know what you ate, where you've been, and even if your cortisol levels are high. They read your stress before you feel the first knot in your gut. But hold on, there's something they do with their tail that no one has ever told you. If their tail base quivers when they see you, it's not just pure joy. It's a nervous electrical discharge of predatory excitement. They're in a state of maximum alert. If your cat does this, comment below, my cat quivers its tail, because you need to know what comes next. Things get serious when they flash their belly. The fatal mistake of every human is thinking it's an invitation for a belly rub. Almost never is. The belly is a feline's most vulnerable spot. When they expose it, they're performing an aggressive trust test. If you touch it and they bite you, you failed the test. You violated their social protocol. And speaking of protocol, ever notice they ignore you when you call their name? They hear you. Their ears twitch millimeters in your direction. They chose to ignore you, and they do it to maintain control of the interaction. If they came every time you called, they'd lose their dominant position in the environment. But none of this compares to the chattering or clicking sound they make when they see a bird through the window. You think it's adorable, but that sound is a physical simulation of the jaw movement required to snap a prey's neck. They're practicing murder right in front of you while you sip your coffee. And when they rub their face on the furniture, or on you, they're slathering you with facial pheromones. It's a way to create a group scent. If you leave the house, shower, and come back smelling like soap, you become a stranger again. That's why they rush to rub on you again. They're fixing your scent so you belong to their colony once more. This leads to something else almost no one picks up on. Their sleep. They sleep 16 hours a day, but they're never truly out cold. If you watch their ears, they're constantly swiveling like radar dishes. They live in a state of functional paranoia. They're processing every creak and whisper in your house, categorizing what's a threat and what's irrelevant. Now, pay attention to this. If your cat suddenly stops eating, it's not just them being picky. Cats use food as a barometer for environmental safety. If something's changed in the routine, if you're down, if there's someone new in the house, their stomach clenches. They feel the vibe of the home in a visceral way. And for the grand finale, the twist that changes everything, when your cat gives you that powerful headbutt, it's not just affection. They're depositing oils from specific glands on their forehead that signal maximum security. They're telling you that you are their safe place. Maybe your cat isn't the stranger. Maybe you just never understood what their every millimeter of movement means. They're talking to you all the time, but you were looking for words while they were using pure biology. If you made it this far, you're part of the small circle that truly wants to crack these mysteries. Comment, I watched till the end. So I know you're looking at your cat differently now. Like and share this with that person who thinks their cat is just cute. They have no idea what they're missing. You think they're just watching you from the corner of the living room. But the truth runs much deeper.
They're not just looking.
They're monitoring your heartbeat, your breathing, your stress levels. Remember that weird meow in the middle of the night that annoyed you? It wasn't hunger. It was a response test. They needed to know if you were still there, if you were still capable of reacting. The justice of this relationship is silent. You offer food and comfort. They offer a sentinel that never truly rests. Every time they brush their paw against you, they're sensing your energy. They know when you're sick before you even feel the first symptom. And when they lay on your chest and purr, they're not just relaxing. They're using the frequency of their vibration to try and stabilize yours. At the end of the day, the redemption of having a cat is this: you're never really alone. You're under the guard of a predator who decided you're worth keeping around. Maybe your cat isn't the stranger. Maybe you just never realized they're the only one who truly understands what you're feeling. If you stuck with me until the end, it's because you're into these kinds of stories. Drop a comment saying I stuck with it, so I can get to know you and see who really digs the content here on the channel. Hit that like button if you feel like your cat has saved you in some way, and share this with a friend who thinks cats don't care about anybody.